We were able to go to a church called King's Cathedral in New Valley, which offered a Marshallese only service.
And thanks to our Uncle Ed, we were able to contact the Marshallese pastor who allowed us to sit in and observe his Marshallese service.
This church service wasn't as different as many people would think. There were the old and the young who attended. After talking to the pastor, we found out that most of the people who attended this service come from the west side, especially Wipeout, Hu, and Eva.
They welcomed us with open arms by giving us Marshallese and recognizing that we were there. During the service, there was praise and worship, tithes and offerings, announcements, and the message. During this time, we got weird looks and stares by little kids.
After their praise and worship, they took time to say hi to everyone that was there, even us, who were complete strangers.
Though we couldn't understand what they were saying, we sat and listened and tried to soak it in. Even though there was a language barrier, the effect and feeling of the message was still there.
Afterwards, the youth performed a dance and sang songs. This was to recognize Palm Sunday. They also wore green to represent it.
During this time, the other kids who weren't performing were playing around and waiting for the food. The woman prepared the food and also served it. After everyone got their food, they told us to go get food.
After the activity started to die down, we were able to interview 3 people: Miriam Antibos, Rodney Bobo, and Rubina Tequita. Miriam Antibos is 70 years old and is a father-in-law to Rodney. Rodney is 37 years old and the pastor and minister of the Marshallese service. And Rubina Tequita is 21 years old and came to Hawaii in 2009. And by interviewing these 3 people, we were able to get the perspective of 3 different generations.
Some of the questions we asked them were: what are some of your cultural values, beliefs, and traditions?
Miriam says that the culture is based around love and that they believe in mostly Christianity and Catholicism. Rodney says that some of their traditions are for birthdays and parties. They will get together to dance and sing and worship.
How does religion play a role in your culture?
Miriam and Rodney agree that religion is a big part of their culture. Miriam said that they have gone from believing in superstitions to Catholicism to Christianity. Rodney says that there isn't just one religion that all Marshallese people believe in, but they do have a religion.
How does Hawaii differ from being in the Marshall Islands?
Rubina said that the way people dress is different from the Marshall Islands. In the Marshall Islands, ladies wear skirts, not jeans. She felt different after immigrating from the small Marshall Islands to the larger islands of Hawaii. On the Marshall Islands, it was easier to travel to places by foot because the islands were smaller. But now here in Hawaii, you have to drive to places.
Did you face racism and discrimination when you came to Hawaii? If so, how did you deal with it?
Rubina and Rodney both experienced discrimination and racism, whereas Miriam was lucky not to. Rodney was teased and put down, but was taught to walk away and not cause trouble. Rubina says that she would just take those hurtful opinions from others, yet it hurt her to hear those kind of things. Miriam was lucky because when he came, everyone was friendly.
What do you think of the Marshallese culture in Hawaii?
Rodney feels that the culture is being lost in Hawaii because people are forgetting where they came from and their traditions aren't being practiced. Miriam thinks that the culture is still strong in Hawaii, but they have to remember that when the language dies, so does the culture. He said, "The place where we are brought up, we can never forget. It's home, sweet home." So after doing this project, we all learned
How judgmental
and how stereotypical we are.
We all should be aware and understand the uniqueness of all cultures.
So who are we to judge a culture we are not a part of?
Wait, you gotta look at that, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
A good 2 seconds.
2, 3. So who are we to judge a culture we
oh, there's not that? A
Culture.
So who
Judge
are
a
we
culture
to
we are
judge
not.
a culture